Hello and welcome to Year 3. In this short presentation, we're just going to talk you through a few things that we will be learning this year to give you a bit of an insight into how Year 3 works. So if we start off with a bit of an introduction, we've got a few adults working with us in Year 3. So we have Mrs. Bibby, I am Miss Gregory, and
Mrs. Davis.
And we also have Mrs. Wills and Mrs. Hill working with us in Year 3. We're very lucky, we've got lots of adults. Now, our school day is starting between 8:45 and 9. Our registers close at 9, so the children being in before the register closes is really important. And the end of the day is 3:30. Our PPA this year will be on a Wednesday, and this term the children will be having French with Mrs. Pedley and Shine Sports. Our PE day is on Monday. So on both Wednesdays and Mondays, the children can come to school dressed in their PE kit, appropriate for the weather. And if everything could be labelled, that'd be great, please. On Monday and Wednesdays, PE kits.
So I'm going to talk through some of the key areas of maths in Year 3. We'll show you a few of the objectives that we're going to cover and just speak about some of the styles of questions that the children might encounter in Year 3 and also how you might be able to help at home with the children's maths learning. So one really important area of the children's learning is place value. It underpins lots of different areas of maths. So we begin the year with this unit of work, and we keep coming back to it over the course of the year to reinforce and build on the children's understanding of place value. One of the key objectives that we will be covering is recognising the place value of each digit and partitioning in different ways. This builds on the children's work in Key Stage 1, as do all the objectives that we will be covering in Year 3. So you can see on the screen examples of some of the questions that the children will be meeting in lessons. You can see that we've got visual representations of numbers, and that keeps coming back time and time again in all of our lessons. We will be looking at visual representations. We'll be building numbers with equipment, and all of these things help the children to explore number and just get to grips with number before they look at number just in a written form. So addition and subtraction we will also cover. It's a key area of our learning. One of the main objectives is adding and subtracting 3-digit numbers. Again, we're not just going to be writing the numbers down and adding and subtracting using formal written methods. We'll be doing lots of learning using pictures and diagrams, and we'll be exploring different ways of adding and taking away numbers, so that the children have a really secure understanding of what it really means. They may find certain methods easier than others to pick up, which is fine. They might have preferred ways of doing things. Things might look a little bit different if you ask them at home to show you what they've been doing in school. They might look a bit different to what you might have done at school, but that's okay. It's just building their understanding of number and how to add and subtract in different ways. Multiplication and division, much the same. So we will be recalling 2s, 5s, 10s, 3s, 4s and 8 times tables by the end of Year 3, multiplying a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number and dividing a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number. And again, on the screen are some examples of questions of the sorts of things that they will come across. Again, pictures are there, different representations of the calculations, and there'll be a whole variety of different ways that we will explore multiplication and division. Fractions, decimals and percentages is another area of learning which we will cover, building on the Year 2 curriculum. One of our main objectives, finding a fraction of an amount or a number, also adding and subtracting fractions with the same denominator, comparing and ordering fractions and finding equivalent fractions. This is an area where we use lots and lots of images to really support the children's understanding. It can be quite an abstract concept unless you have those visuals, so we'll do a lot of that. So mastery is the word that we use to describe broadening and deepening children's understanding of these objectives. So when a child has understood a certain concept, rather than moving them up to the next year group's objective, instead we give them lots of different examples of questions in different contexts, which all look slightly different, but which allow them to practice the skill which we have taught them. So we ensure that there are a whole variety of different problem-solving challenges and questions to help them develop their mastery of an objective. So they're really, really secure in it by the end of the year. Keep coming back to objectives. So at the beginning of the year, a child might have got to grips with a concept and begun to develop their understanding of it. And then hopefully by the end of the year, after they've had more chances of coming back to the same ideas, they should have mastered that particular concept. And so they should be able to apply their understanding in a variety of different ways. So one way of supporting children to develop their mastery is to use word problems. There are many other different ways too, but here are some word problems. I won't read them through to you. You can pause the video if you like and have a little look to see what sorts of things we'll be getting the children to do. In lessons, we'll help the children to understand how to break the problem down, highlighting key pieces of information, and supporting them in their understanding of how to work through a problem like this. It can sometimes be a bit overwhelming to see a lot of words written on a page, and to have to break down the problem can be a bit of a challenge at first, but we will do lots of work on how to break these things down to support them in that area of mastery. And then here are some examples of other problems which we regularly use. So true or false questions, always, sometimes, never statements. These things sort of we feed into lessons all the time, really, so that there are lots of opportunities for the children to show their understanding of concepts. We will continue to give the children Maths Planets challenges, and we will be doing our Maths Planets every Friday. So onto the website we've added both the Year 2 and the Year 3 Maths Planets overviews, so you can see the challenges that will be presented to the children. If your child does not pass, we will send question stars that they're finding hard home. We won't send the whole paper home because then the child might learn the particular questions, but so long as you've got an idea of what it is, the particular concept that they're finding tricky, that will help you to support them in building their understanding of that particular thing. If you're not sure of how to support your child in that, then please do let us know and we'll give you some ideas about how to help them with that particular skill that they're struggling with. So there are other ways to help at home too. Time is one of the areas that we cover in Year 3. It can be a tricky concept to get to grips with, and it's something that is it's really brilliant if you can support with at home. So if you can just do lots of practice telling the time, and again ask us if you want some ideas about how you can support your child with telling the time if they're finding that tricky. Times tables practice would be wonderful if you can support your child with that at home. Hit the Button is a brilliant game that you can find online if you just Google it. There are lots of ways that you can practice different times tables using that game. We will be using some times tables grids in school too, which will enable the children to practice their rapid recall of times tables as well. There's lots you can be doing at home if you'd like to support your child with their understanding of key facts at home.
Okay, so I'm now going to take you through reading and writing in Year 3. So we will be changing reading books on a Friday. So please make sure your child has their reading book and their reading record in school each Friday, and we will be sending home a new book then. Also, please make sure you continue to read with your child as often as possible. We will be continuing with the reading challenge, and every time your child reads 50 times, they will receive a book from Mr. Winterburn It's really important that we keep that reading up, even though the children have now come upstairs. Reading is such an important area of the curriculum. In class, we will be starting whole class reading sessions. So these are some of the objectives that we'll be covering. As you can see, they are grouped into different categories around vocabulary, about reading whole books, about retelling different stories. And these are some of the things we'll be doing. These ones here are about children's response. So being able to justify their inferences is a really important part of the Year 3 reading curriculum, and therefore lots of reading at home and lots of discussion about what they have read will really help with this. Here are some examples of questions we might be asking the children in class. As you can see, there are questions around what words mean and what they show us within a text, such as what words on page 12 show the phone hasn't rung. And then there are questions around inference and really thinking about the characters and what's happening within the story and getting that deeper understanding. In writing, we will continue to write a range of different genres. We'll be writing stories, instructions, recounts, along with others. And here are some of the grammar objectives that we will be learning in Year 3. Some of these the children may have already started in Year 2. They may have knowledge of these already, and then there may be some new ones there for them as well. Spellings will be coming home and will be tested on Friday. The children will have their spellings stuck in their homework book, and then we will stick their dictation that they've completed on a Friday in that book too, so that you can see it at home. In Year 3 and 4, there is a year group word list. There are some statutory spellings, and these will form part of our spelling practice, but this can also be found online as well.
I'm going to talk a little bit now about the wider curriculum subjects that we cover in Year 3. So if you look on our class webpage on the website, you will see that we have these pupils' knowledge and skills organisers. These get stuck in the front of the children's book at the beginning of each unit, and they just give a bit more information about all of the objectives we'll be covering in that unit. They also give some of the key vocabulary we will be learning and some questions and ideas for some further thinking around each of those units as well. This is our Year 3 autumn newsletter, and this will be published soon, so you'll be able to find this on our webpage as well. And this again gives you further information about what we are covering for each of our units, for our maths, our English, our reading, and the wider curriculum subjects as well. So keep an eye out for this because it gives you lots more information about what we're covering in this autumn term. Wheatfield Plus and Shine After School Clubs are up and running already, and they're going to be continued to be booked in the same way as previously. If you're not sure, then please speak to one of us at the end of the day and we can help you with organising these clubs. And again, if you've got any questions about anything else, then please feel free to speak to us at the end of the day. If that's not possible, we're happy to arrange a meeting or receive an email, and our email addresses are also on our class page, which you can find here on the school website. So please keep an eye on that as we will update it with information.
Thank you for listening.